Okay, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. So now we're going to continue. This is part two of ponds design. So let's continue when you first finished. Last thing we did in part one is we dressed up this pond. As you remember, it was blue, naked. So now we have the lovely sods. It looks good. And then let's go back to templates. If you remember, I made some templates for y'all, which let's go back here. And I'm going to show you how to use them before we jump into full 3D, full corridor tab of design of a pond. Okay, as you remember, we have the left and right for cut and fill, and then we also have just this one I made because I'm going to do an example about it, another tie-in, and also another tie-in, left to right, and of course this is the sod we used. And by the way, this sod is not that hard. I mean, this is how you make it. Inside it is only have a slope, so to make it, you right click, a new component, you can do a constraint and then do from here to here and finish, and that's it. And how you continue, just make sure this thing is tied to the center one. We can make it, for example, 5, and then make sure the slope is 0 because we just want this to be flat, right? And then what make it look green here is the feature definition. So you come here and then you go to the feature definition, and let's find the sod, or what is it called? The slopes, which are the sod. There you go. That's it. So this is what we made. This one exactly the same as the only difference is the names of the points, which is, you can do that. You can double click and then name them wherever you want. And also, yeah, I forgot the feature. The points themselves also have features. So let's open one of these. So as you can see here, it's basically template point. So after you do that, let me make these also. You come here to the point and then you do linear and the roadway design and then template point, and then whatever it is, since it is a sod or a slope, you can call it slope break or pick the slope break. It doesn't matter. These are not that important, especially for what we're doing here. If this was a roadway design, a template tab situation or a corridor for that, that will be a little bit different because there we're going to have to worry about annotation. But for now, we're not. Okay, anyway, so this is just what we left last video. So let's close this one. Nope, I don't want to save it because I already have it. Okay, so let's look here. What I was saying, if you guys still want to do this way, just make sure you do it this way. And of course, consider using the, like I said, the tools, the geometry tools, because they are better than just using like the dummy tools. Let's go to references. I'm going to turn off the 3D. As you know, this is the 2D, and the 2D is referencing the 3D in it, right? So it has like a window to it. So it's here. This is the same file. So I'm just going to turn this off. The other thing I would like to do is, let me actually reference the roadway 2D file, because we already have the models, but I want you to see the 2D file, because this is part of what I want y'all to be doing. So let's go to roadway, and let's get the design, the roadway stuff. Oh, they have a motif here. Well, I can reference the motif. You know what? I don't want to do that. I'm just going to reference them piece by piece for now. Of course, if they have a motif, you can reference the motif, right? You know what the motif is? A motif is basically a bunch of DGN inside it as a container. Then when you reference them here, instead of referencing multiple files, you only reference one. So here we go. Perfect. Okay, so for this pond, what I want y'all to do, after you finish this, most people that I notice what they do is, they will come here to this line, and then just go easily to this. Apply a linear template. I'm going to apply it and show you what is this going to do. And then let's go to pond, and the cut the left. I think it's going to be the right. But if not, we can switch it. I don't want it to be reflect. And then let's click on that. It's locked to 0 because, as you see, this this chain, I made it start from here, because if you remember when I connected it, it was from here. So it basically, if they're stationed, this is the 0, and then it will go and end here. And as you can see here, it starts from 0 and end 29. These are like the ghost stations. This the ORD will really do for any complex. So I can do it like start and end there, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to show it here. I'm going to start here and I want to end here. And of course, when you do this, it's going to give you two options to either do it reflect inside or outside. I want to do it outside. Okay, so let me close this. So let me show you what y'all, what's going on here. Okay. It is here. So as you can see it here, this is the side. As you remember, this template that we apply here, I have bunch of rules, meaning, let me go to properties. So this is the template that I used here. I'm going to show you how it looks. As you see, all these, like the bunch of conditions, we tell it to go from this point, which is from here, and then start hitting the surface. And you usually start with the lowest one. It will try the 50%, that 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, basically. Either cut and fill. If it is low on the ground, it will use these first. If it's up the ground, it will try to use this. And it tries to solve the equation. That's it, and mimic to the ground. So most people that I see here in drainage, they just use this. They just use the linear, like this, and then apply it, right? And any place where they are a condition, it will be meet. So let me just do it the whole thing here. Let's see what it did here. As you see, I already met some conditions here. See? All that. But I would like to ask y'all, consider not doing that. Why? Because technically, when you put a linear template on a line, and this line is like your alignment, it gives you like a mini corridor here. And I see a mini because it's not as big as the real corridor. So let's go to corridors. Let's get the bucket. Let's open it. So this mini corridor, there are not a lot of options here. Yes, there are point control, and I still can do the point control from here with another corridor, which is the roadway. It can be done, but it is limitless in what you can do. And also, you don't even have control over naming the corridor itself. It will take the name of this chain itself that you have, whatever it is. And as you see, let's see what's this corridor's name. Can we? I think we can change it. Can we? Yep, this is the corridor, and you see it's called the linear template. I guess you can change it, for example, to call it pond, whatever it is. But I recommend, let's not use that. Let's use something else instead of just a linear template. Let's use a full corridor. Why not? And this is why I'm going to show you this. And by the way, if you decided to use this, it is not wrong. It's okay. Which, let me do a top view here. So us roadway will still be happy with you if we have a corridor, because us people from roadway, they can still toggle this corridor that is in a linear template, and we do the connection that we want. So if you decide to do that, do that. However, I want to expose you to something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm just selecting it. I'm going to delete it. Well, I delete the template first, and then this is the corridor. I just called it a pond. So I'm going to delete it. What I'm going to do here right now, I'm just going to click again on the point itself. And I'm going to create a corridor. You see that? Create a corridor. And then move on. And it made the corridor for me. And as you can see, it starts from here and it goes all over and it ends here, right? And then this is a corridor, so we can call it pond 131B tie or ties. Just something clear so the roadway people know exactly what it is. So now inside this one, so let's open the corridor so I can show you the templates and how it looks like that. So right now, you have a lot of other options. You can do alias targeting, which is maybe a little bit advanced for y'all. Maybe you shouldn't know about it. You can also clip the corridor, do external references. There are a lot of other things you can do. So this is why I recommend you do that. Because it depends how advanced you want your the side end here to be. If you just want to make it basic as it is, this is what we're going to do right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a template from here and go till here, the cut and fill one. Because here we don't have roadway to worry about. We literally, the UR will want this to go just tie to the ground, right? So that's what we're going to do. So let's go here. And then let's go to templates. And let's open them. And let's get this one, the cut and fill. And let's apply it. So I wanted to start, for example, from here. And I wanted to end somewhere here. Oh. Let's do that again. Oh, because, okay. See, let me explain this. So as you see here, this is the 0, and it goes till it reaches 0, and then the end of the template. So the starts here, usually the least station will be here. The end station will be higher, not the opposite. So what I'm going to do is I will actually start from here. I'm just going to escape. I'm going to start from here. And then I'm going to end here. As you see, like I said, the small number is always the start. The end number station is always the end. And then yes, 25 interval. It's okay. Here we go. So as you can see right now, whatever we have surface, it went and it made the condition. Unfortunately, here you don't see nothing. You know why, right? Because our surface here, for this example, my apologies, it's not full. We're still waiting on a survey to give us a surface so we can have the surface here. But as of now, we don't. That's why you see my condition just stops here, because there are nothing else. Let me show you how they look like. Rotate view, dynamic, and here we go. As you can see, and here is how they look like. See? It's tying to the ground. They are just this piece here, and I know an EOR will freak out to have a heart attack. Yes, it is here, but I think this is too small. But we can show it to the EOR and see what they're going to say about it. Because this is the corner. But mostly looking at it, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Everything is going like this, as you can see. And I'm assuming even when we get the surface, it's going to be like that. See, because we're supposed to be high and everything is fill. We're not supposed to be low. And because of that, here right now, and then here I want to add a different template. So let's go template. Remember when I made this, the tie-in, these ones? I mean right or left? Let's test both of them. And let's see. So these are the small numbers here, and pop, pop, pop. This is the end. So let me start from here, which is this 0. I'm gonna start from 0. Let me click 0 here. Okay, and then I want it to end here where this is stops. Okay, so he made it for me now. So this one, I'm just gonna maybe try to make it like this. This is more of a detailed modeling, but let me show you why I did this. Let's get a corridor dynamic view. Oh, I forgot we're gonna need a view, right? Here we go. Okay. So you see, this is the one that I just applied. But remember, I told you that's why we have left and right, right? So left doesn't work. So let's do right. Again, why I did this is because the way these got chained up, right to left, left and right. And that's why I also recommend to people, don't use the microstation line, use the other line. So I'm just clicked here. I'm going to change the one to the left. I'm going to use the right one. Here we go. As you see right now, here, you see this is what it's doing. So why I recommend people at least do the corridor on the top berm edges, right? Because we can do this. I can do point control, and I can tell it start from 0. So let's start from 0, but end it here. And let's call this tie to whatever the ramp is, right? Tie to ramp, for example. Oh, ramp. Okay. And then it's going to ask me to select the point, right? But I'm not going to do that because this is for geometry. For the control is right now is set up to be for linear geometry. No, that's not what I want. What I want is I want this point that you see here to go to this corridor and go connect this point from this corridor that is coming from a different file. You're going to be like, what? How? Okay, I will show you how. Which actually remind me of something. I'm going to escape because I need to turn on the corridors in a 2D view from roadway just so I can get the ticks because I need to select the tick. So let's go here. Here you go. You see these are the roadway corridor. You see they are coming from this file, model 4Z12. They are just referenced here. So now let's go again to my tie-in corridor and let's do add. And let's do the same, start from 0 and then end it here. Tie to ramp, that's what I want the point to be called. And then it's going to ask me what's the point. I can select it actually from here, from the cross-section view, or from here. See it from here? This is the tie one, the tie-in. So poop, I'm going to select it. Now it's telling me if I want to connect it vertically or horizontally. Meaning, if I want to just vertically, this will just go up, 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 up. Horizontally, this actually will go here. But I want it to be both, meaning I want the tie-in to go from here and go to this point. So I'm going to leave it at both. But the control type, I'm going to do a corridor feature. So a corridor feature, now I'm going to select the roadway corridor. See, this one. Now it's asking me to select the corridor, so here we go. As you can see here, it's the 536 RAM B1-2 RT. So poop. I'm collecting it. So now it's telling me to select the reference that you want. So I can come from here, you see, I can select this one, or I can do it from here. Both of them will work. So I'm going to select this one, and let's watch the magic happen. Here we go. See? This is why I love the corridors. So right now, we did the tie-in for roadway, right? I know roadway would not want that, but look how beautiful it is. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Of course, the edge is always a problem here at the corners because that will need a little bit of detail modeling, but don't worry about it. If your cross sections doesn't go there, don't worry about it. And maybe later on I will do more for detail modeling, because when it comes to detail modeling, there are ways of actually, as you see, this one is tie up. I can actually force it to go down and then make a surface here and do a lot of things to make it look prettier, right? So yeah, so this is why I want a corridor. But I don't want you guys to do this. Usually the roadway are in charge of the daylight slopes. They are in charge of how to connect it. What I want y'all to do is, let's go back to my templates. First of all, let's go to my control point. I'm going to take it out. And let's go to the drop template. So this one, the second one that I told you have the tie-in, I'm just going to delete it because I just wanted to show it for example. So just leave it like this. Any place where the ramp or the road adjacent to the pond, just leave it like this. Because later on, us in roadway, when I say us, because I'm sorry, I usually do roadway, the corridor guy in a roadway will go and you open the same thing, the same bucket that we have. And from there, you will click on a point control. And then it will do point control to another corridor. And then it will come here and we select our corridor. And then when they select our corridor, they will tell this point, instead of coming shooting here to the ground, to go find this point. And it will perfectly harmoniously connect it. So this is why I want y'all to use corridor. And like I said, you can do that as a linear template and have that mini corridor, but I don't prefer that. I prefer this one because this one is good. This one will allow me to do a lot of modification if needed for more complex corridors, for more complex ponds. So I guess the choice is up to you. Just do what you think is correct for you and your situation, okay? So let's close this. So it's perfect, perfect. So now we're gonna go finally to the templates, which is, I know most drainage people, they told me they don't use templates. But I would like y'all to get exposed to that. So what the first thing we're gonna do, let's just delete the corridors and the templates. So I'm gonna strip everything out. And then I will click here and remove this surface template. Delete. And then let's go here and turn back the surface that we have here. And I'm gonna delete it. So just think of this, we're starting from scratch, right? Pop, top view. And you, by the way, you see here in the cross section, you only see these points. And where are these points coming? These points are coming from the elevations these lines have. That's why you can see them. See that here? Pop, 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 pop. Okay, so let's close this. So, how are we gonna... Okay, we are back. My apologies for the interruption that just happened. Technical difficulties. And just full disclaimer, it just shut down on me and I had to reopen again, but nothing happened as since last. Okay, so now let me show you how to create a template for this. Before I do that, I'm just going to need a screenshot of this. Oh, let me rotate the screen first, because I'm going to need these values to build the template. Oh, rotate. Let's take a screenshot. Oh, I need to zoom in better because I can't see the numbers. Okay. Come on now. Okay, perfect. So let's do this. Let's minimize this. And now what we're going to do is let's go to our template library. Let me make this like this. What's up with Windows? Here we go. And here I want it to be this template. No, ma'am. Here we go. So here's our template. Here's our folder. So now let's click on add new and then let's create a template. Okay. So pond 131B. Is it a B? It is a B. Okay. Enter. Okay. So I'm going to just try to do one so fast and dirty without actually stopping and renaming the points and doing all that. That's something you can do later. But again, this is the magic of templates. You can create a perfect template and you can change it later, right? So what I'm thinking right now is I'm just going to do one just so fast so I can lay it here. Okay. So you right click and then add new component and then the so constraint. This is the center, but we don't have to start for it. We can force it later. But before you start clicking and making them, let's go to axis, this feature here, and let's select the slope one because that's how it looks. And then this is what I'm going to do. Just think of this as a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 points, and then we have a component or a line from here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. And just think of that, we'll go boop all over it and make the pond. That's exactly how the template's going to do it. And this is why I want these numbers and these slopes so I know what to do, because that's how I'm doing it. I'm using the numbers and the slopes. So the first one, as you can see, is green. It's usually green because that's the center, that's the control, the parent, and everything after it is going to be the child. So this is the second point, and then after you do the second point, it's by default, it's going to be like this. It's going to try to make shapes for you. So right click and close this, close shape, just uncheck it. And then the third point, and then the fourth point, and then finally the 5 point. So let's do finish. And as you know, like I said, this is the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. So this one is going to be the center. I'm just going to double click on it. Like I said, I'm not going to spend time and add feature and all that because all this is, if you go linear and then roadway and then template points, and then let's go here. It's going to be a slope broke. Oh, slope, 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 or pond peak. As you can see, there are a lot of them for ponds. So you get to pick whatever you want. It depends on whatever workspace that you have. You can change that. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to call this a CL or center line. You can call it whatever you want. And now let's just start building the template. So like I said, from here to here, we have a 15 horizontally, and we have a slope 1 to 30. So let's go and apply that condition here. So double click on this number 1. As you can see, it's number 1, and it's already have a parent, the CL. So from the CL, we want it horizontally to be minus 15. By the way, minus 15 is because this side, because if I typed 15, it will go to the other side, right? Because I want it to be minus 15. Because again, this is how this chain was made. So I know it's made like this, so the template's going to be inward. It's not going to be the outward, which is the left side. Okay, so from here to here, we have a horizontal, and then we need the slope. And by the way, these are the constraints. We only worried about horizontally and slopey. So let's click on slope. And then we want it to be 1 over 30. As you see, you don't have to type 3.333. It will automatically do that for you. Just type 1 divided by 30. And let's do apply, and let's close. And then let's do the second one, which is technically the third one, if we're counting the top one. So let's do slope here. And then from here to here is 15.08, which is minus 15.0. So I know it's 15, but let's just leave it like that as it is. And then slope-wise is 1 divided by 4. Enter. Here we go. It made it for us. Apply. Close. And now let's do the third one or the fourth one. Horizontally and slopey. So this one here to here, from here to here is 8. So let's do minus 8. And then slope-wise, it's still 1 to 4. Apply. And then let's do the last one, right? Which is from here to here, which is going to take us to the bottom, right? Which is this one I'm just going to call bottom just because it's the bottom. Bottom. And horizontally is minus 18.46, which is this one here. And then slopey is 1 divided by 2. Click enter and then apply. And then ta-da, that's it. Here's your template. What we need to do is let's go to the CL and let's change template origin just so we can put the box on it, just so we can already know that this is the center of the template. And then you can vertically do it like this and that. I think something is wrong. Maybe let's double check stuff. Let's do this one. Okay, so it is 15. That's good. And then the second one is also 15, right? Perfect. And then after that we have an 8, right? It's an 8. Okay. And then after that we have 18. Oh, that's the problem, because I was worried, what is this? Okay, I missed this. It's minus 3. It's actually minus 18.46. Ta-da. And the slope is, like I said, 1 divided by 2. Close. Here we go. Now it looks like a pond to me. Okay, here we go. So, you got your pond template. Let's do close. Yes. Like I said before, I just want to expose you guys to everything, because every project we're going to do is going to be different, right? So when everything fall, just making the lines and giving them like this profiles and then drape something on them, it will be good. And then do a linear template or do a corridor just for the top, will be good. But like I said, I want you to get exposed to everything, so you make a decision for what's going to work for you. So this one is going to be our center line, so I'm just hovering over it, and then let's create a corridor out of it. And then reset for active profile, and then the corridor is going to be called pond 131B, and then let's select the template, which is this one, and I want it to start from the start and lock to the end, so you can go all over it. And let's see it make it right now. So click, 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 and finger cross. Ta-da! Here we go, it made it. So the only problem I'm seeing here, and I want to point out that to you, that this pond that I picked is complicated, it's not uniform. So this method maybe will work if you have a uniform pond, meaning, as you can see here, as we have a curve here and then we have a curve here, it's doing it good because it's uniformly going here. But, and here also you see it's the same, right? The arc is the same, but here it's not. As you can see that, this not filling it. It's just because how ORD work, because these are template and they stopped here. So because this is a complicated corridor, I'm sorry, a complicated pond, maybe this method is not that good for it. But let's just continue and show you how you can end this. Okay, so now we have our corridor, right? Let me first go back and let me turn on, yep, this. So this is our corridor. Actually, I think I have two corridors here, did I? Oh, damn. Okay, yep. I probably double click, so let's delete one of them. And this one that have the template on it, so let's make sure this one is called enter. Okay, perfect. So now we have just one corridor. As you can see, that's this line is the line of the corridor, and then the tips are the corridor, and these are the template. And it's going let's click on it again. You see, it's by default is 25. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's from here to here. Every 25 feet will drop a template. You can lower it. You can make it as low as 10. As you can like tighten it up and make it more perfect looking. So now the bottom, we still need to fill the bottom. So it's the same. Let's create a terrain. And then from element, and we know the bottom already have elevation to it, so it's just gonna click on that. I'm just gonna call this bottom pond 131B, and making all these names good, because later on, I mean, if this project is gonna go actually to final, later on we're gonna get the surface from the roadway, we're gonna get the surface from here, so we can have like the final perfect surface. So later on when we complex all of them, it's better to see the names. Here we go. Now we got the bottom, and as you can see, it is like this here, which is unfortunately not good. But later on when we make a surface, it will automatically just fill this for us. And I'm talking about the final surface, right? Give it a sod, and then here we go. So we got the pond. Okay, and now this pond have like I said, the template way, right? So let's turn this on, and then let's go to drawing. Let's just draw a line here, and let's take a cross section and see what we got. Okay. Ta-da, is the same as the other method. And like I said before, you can leave it like this, and then the roadway will come and tag onto this corridor and tie it in, right? That's it. But what about these other areas, right? The areas that we don't have connection to the corridor. Can we add like cut and fill? The answer is yes, we can add cut and fill. So let's go to template library right now. And now I want to show you something. And this is my YouTube people. This is just for Florida workspace. So remember this resources one. So let's go there. For some reason, DUT already have a pond template, but I don't like it because, I mean, like I said, when you create this, it's up to you. I could have made the center and the bottom instead of here. It's up to you how you want the template to be, right? So let me show you what the one that actually come from FDUT. It's called here under linear template common. You click on a pond, and this is what they have. They actually have the control here in the center. And as you can see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from my understanding, to make this work, we're going to need to make a middle line somehow here between this one and this one and give it a profile that works with our design, and then we can lay this template on it. And as you can see here, they have cut and fill attached to it. So let's open this cut and fill. So they have it as 25, right? That's 25%. These are the cut and fill. So you can actually come here and double click on them and go make your template like them. Meaning double click on this, see what the name that they have, which is pond slope. You can name all of them that, and this you see, they call it ditch slope. That's what they actually used. That's what FDUT have to use. And let's look at the points, what they have it. So for the points, they are calling them, they are using a slope break PM. So even FDUT, even them, they have a point control. So whoever made this just selected a slope break. This is why I told you I'm not that important for me to name them whatever and give them feature, especially for ponds. When it comes to roadway modeling, that's a whole different story, because naming and giving the feature to them is really important in roadway because we have annotation and all that. But when it comes to pond, it's not that important. And like I said at the beginning of this whole thing is, as you can see, unfortunately, drainage is not the priority in making it perfect in anything. Okay, so let's close this. So yeah, so this is what they have here. So let's go to mine here that we made. I mean, we can do like cut and fill like them, which is I'm going to do it with you right now. So let's click a new component, and then let's go to end condition. So this time is end condition, is not the other one. So because it's end condition, then let's go again to the feature. Let's do excess. So let's lower that. Let's do slopes. And let's start here, and then let's end here. And then after that, let's just finish. And then let's do another one again. And then again, select end condition. And then let's go from here, and then let's end here. And then let's do finish. So now, this one here. So the difference between the constraint component, they don't have these. These specific feature here is an end condition. That's why you have these options. So my recommendation is select this infinite. So I'm telling you, when you go from here, just go search for it. Find whatever you need. So if I'm not wrong, this will be fill. And then for that, let's do 25. And then horizontally, it really does not matter because of this. But if you didn't check this, it will only go to 2.4 horizontally and find the earth. If there are no earth on that, it's not gonna fill this. So I'm just gonna go do infinite. And here it doesn't matter, but for uniformity, just to look, I'm just gonna make it 3. And then the cut. And then select this one, and then let's also do -25. And then for uniformity, let's just do 3. Okay, let me make sure that's what actually DOT did. Oh, yeah, the top one is the cut, the bottom one. Okay. So I flipped him, my friends. And it's actually correct. The bottom one is filled, the other one is cut. I was thinking something is wrong. So when I called it cut, it already made it cut on 1 because they already have a cut. So I need actually to go here and call this a fill. And go back here and let's call this as a cut. Okay, but before we leave here, now we have it, it's perfect. And let me show you test. So if we went to test here, okay, and then we have this active and you click on draw. So imagine with me, this is the surface, the white thing. So if I go up and down like this, that's the condition of cut and fill. So let's close this. And by the way, yeah, don't worry about the message when I clicked on test. It popped again because I did not name these or give them the proper features. It's already warning you. But as you know, we don't need these everywhere. I only need them here. I don't need them here. Here I just want the roadway to take care of that, right? So let's do switches. And I know these switches might be not easy to a lot of people, but I promise y'all, it's so easy. You're only gonna need 2 points, null points, put one here, and then do another one, do a null point, and put it on top of it. And then, so let's call this one off or on rule. And then let's go to this one, and let's call it off switch. I'm going to show you why I'm doing that. So, but then we need this to constrain it horizontally and vertically with the rule. So click on this. So horizontally, I want it to be 0. This means you can, like, boop, it's literally on top of it. Vertically, let's make it 1. And then I want to copy this name here and paste it here. Because this is the constraint, right? Switch. Because later on when I'm going to go to the template, I'm going to select this. And if I typed 1, I'm either going to make it on or off. Or I typed another one, is going to be off. Well, we'll see that. So let's do apply. So now let's go to these. Double click on them. And then let's go to this thing here. Display rule. Click on edit. And then let's click on add. So this rule here, we can call it, like I said, off rule. And select the vertical, absolute vertical, and then select this point and this point. So what it's saying here, off rule and off rule is, you see, is equal 0. But if I did 1, I think it's going to turn them on. But I want them to be on while it's 1, right? So I'm just going to leave this 0, equal to 0. And let's just do OK. So now we have this here. This is basically a condition. And we are telling it when it is equal 0, do something to them, which is we're going to test right now together. So you click on it here and then select rule, and it's going to pop here. And then let's click on equal, and it's going to be false. So whenever it's 0, the result will be false. Meaning, let's do OK. And then let's do apply. See, it disappeared. Why? Because if I go to my switches, you have the number 1. Number 1 is to make it off. 0 to make it on. But what I said at the beginning, I want the 1 to be on, right? So let's go switch that. As you see now, it's disappeared. How to bring it back? You see, click on active template here, it will show you the stuff that is hidden. So let's go back here and let's switch this. Let's delete this and then let's add a new one. And then again, let's call this off rule. And then absolute vertical. Let's select this one and then let's select this one. So now let's do number 1 and then equal. And then let's select this one. Let's do select one and then pop. Now it's doing it as true. So let's do OK. And then apply. So let's go back to my library. Okay, so right now, the switch is number 1, but you still can see them. But if I want to turn them off, I'm going to click a 0, and look what's going to happen. It's going to disappear. And click 1, it's going to come back. So now let's apply the same thing for this. You don't have to redo it again because it's going to save it here. It's going to be like as part of the template display rules. So select it and then select rule and then do that. So again, this can get so complicated because you can also do and or. You can make this expression as complicated as you can. Because imagine if we have like a bunch of walls here. This is how roadway do it. If, for example, they have from this station to this station, they want to trigger a wall. From this station to this station, they want to trigger a ditch. This is how you can do that here. But for y'all drainage, I'm just showing y'all basic that you can do. Let's do OK, and you can see it here. It's apply. So let's test it now. Again, so if I make this 0, it's going to turn all of them off. And if I make it 1, they're going to turn back on. So just remember this label, we're going to need it, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. So now let's close this, and let's yes, save. And let's check in. And then open your corridor. And you see it's red. That means there are some changes added, which is the conditions that I added for switches. Let's click on this synchronized template situation here, the electricity. So you can synchronize this with the template library. So just click on the corridor anywhere. You see, now it's working. And because it's synchronized, look what happened. It went and it applied all of them. It applied what I said, the cut and fill, right? And you can see it here. As you see, I applied it here, 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 even here, 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 all the, it didn't apply it here because, as you can see, we are missing a surface here. We're still waiting on the surface to come. So now, but I don't want it to be everywhere, right? I want it to be off here because I want the roadway to deal with that, right? So let's open the cross section and you can see it's already made this. But like I said, here I want it to be off. So how I'm going to turn it off? By doing the following. Go to parametric constraint and then click on add and new, and then you go here. You're going to see all your switches. We don't have a lot of them. We only have one. So let's select this one. And you see, by default, it's number 1. So first, let's just go apply it, right? Like I said, this one should be the small number. This is the long number, right? So I cannot start from here, right? Oh, actually, I can't because the small one is here. So what I want to do is I want it to be off from here till here, which is almost the 0. So let's make this is the 0. Oh, now I'm thinking about I need to flip it. The 0 is supposed to be up top. Yes. And then the other one is the 10. And then I'm just going to leave it like that. I can switch it right now, the value, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Just I want you to see what it's going to do. Okay. So now we have it, but we still not trigger it. How to trigger it? You come here and let's switch this to 0.5, for example, right? Or anything. Or a 0. Let's do a 0. Both of them. Let's make a 0 here too. Here we go. And you see, it's gone. Here, you see, it's gone. Where I told it to stop, to here, it's gone. I think here it's not because it literally just stopped here because, you know, as my template, it starts from here. So this is one still on here. But I think this is good for this. Roadway can still connect to this. Ta-da! Here we go. And you see, now it's on. And when I say the 0 will work, or even any number, for example, let's do 5, right? It will still meet the condition. Because I told it, as long as it's not number 1, don't show it. Any number, take it off. And the rest of the corridor is doing it. But the moment I apply this one, it will not. So if I took it back to 0, it will turn them off. No, I'm sorry. Took it back to 1. We'll bring them back. Here we go. It's back again. And yeah, let's make it 0. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it, my friend. So, and as you know, also you can turn it on and off from here. So right now, as the condition is met, off because it's a 0. But if I turn that off here, it will go back to as it is, and then turn it back on. And with that, we are almost done for making the corridor. Actually, we are done. Yes. Okay. So what are we thinking of this? My advice to you, I wanted to expose y'all to all of them, all different ways of doing it. And I also want to expose y'all to the pros and cons of using these tools and also using the geometry tools. So my advice here is do what works for you. But always when you do whatever works for you, think of the other team. Think of the roadway. Just think of how they're going to connect to your work. A good modeler always think of that. The same thing as roadway should always talk and connect with the drainage. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Till next one.